The commitment needs to be a commitment to grow the economy, and the budget will balance itself.
The Liberals' latest inflationary budget includes money, much more money, for things you neither read nor watch.
Conservatives would have you pull back, not spend anything, maybe pay down a little debt to balance the budget at all costs, and expect the economy to sort it out itself. Well, I disagree.
10 years after Trudeau's famous quip, the budget has not yet balanced itself, not even once, not even close, despite Trudeau's insistence that he could just will it to be without any work whatsoever. Could you imagine how bad it would be if he actually worked at it? But you won't hear how bad it is out there for Canadians, with 50% of Canadians just one paycheck away from ruin.
You know, the haves and the have-nots in this country. You know, our data says about 50% of Canadians are living paycheck to paycheck. So I think support for those segments of the economy is really important.
And the reason that fact won't be on the front page of every newspaper is the hush money bailout Justin Trudeau has given to the media in his latest budget. Let me show you. This is all directly from the Liberals' budget this week. Investing in CBC Radio Canada. CBC Radio Canada is key to our democracy. Who says? As Canada's national public broadcaster, CBC Radio Canada ensures people in all parts of Canada, including rural, remote, and Indigenous communities, have access to local and Canadian news and entertainment in their preferred official language. Like many media organizations, CBC Radio Canada has experienced declining advertising and subscription revenues that threaten its ability to fulfill its mandate of providing public television and radio programming. So they're admitting that CBC is failing, that it's doing poorly, that nobody's watching it, but here come the Liberals with their solution. Budget 2024 proposes to provide $42 million in 2024-2025 for CBC Radio Canada news and entertainment programming, ensuring Canadians across the country, including rural, remote, Indigenous, and minority language communities, have access to high-quality, independent journalism and entertainment. So that's $42 extra million in the next budget, on top of the $1.3 billion-ish in direct subsidies that CBC receives from the taxpayer every single year.
Why does CBC get more money after laying off workers and managers still collecting bonuses?
Okay, so we know that our public broadcaster, like private companies as well in the media sector, are going through a hard time with their advertisement money going more and more towards the tech giants. So what we're doing, because CBC had a deficit, is put money so that they limit the number of job loss.
There's more, though. Look at this. Promoting local journalism. Access to high-quality independent news and information is a key pillar of any democracy. Over the years, private corporations have bought up media outlets, including small community newspapers and broadcast channels, but have not been there to support the journalists who are the heartbeat of the news. Again, they're admitting that local journalism is failing, but instead of encouraging local journalism to rethink their business model, which of course is not working, the Liberals have something else in mind. Combined with shifts to the digital platforms of multinational tech giants who are reducing revenue streams, local news is facing critical challenges. If we allow the erosion of news media, we are enabling the sort of unchecked disinformation and misinformation that will erode our democracy. The government believes that Canadians, no matter where they live, especially those in small, underserved, and official language communities, need to be able to have access to independent local journalism. So to make journalism independent, as you see, the Liberals are going to make it dependent on the government. To support the production of independent, reliable, and diverse local news across the country, the government announced $58.8 million over the next 3 years, starting in 2024-2025, to the Department of Canadian Heritage for the Local Journalism Initiative. This support would be available to written, press, community, radio and television, and online news services. But they aren't done yet colonizing the information space with government money and thus the government agenda. We've got more. Investing in public interest programming services. Public interest programming services, including the Cable Public Affairs Channel, that's CPAC, Aboriginal People's Television Network, APTN, where you can watch Die Hard on repeat, Access Media Inc., that's AMI, ICI Television, and TV5 Quebec Canada, among others, play important roles providing news programming to Canadians and ensuring diverse voices are heard and accessible across the country. The services provided by not-for-profit media organizations like APTN, which amplifies Indigenous voices covering Indigenous news for Indigenous communities across the country, need urgent support to continue delivering the news. Budget 2024 proposes to provide $15 million over 2 years starting in 2024-2025 to the Department of Canadian Heritage to support public interest programming services, including $5 million in 2024-2025 to support CPAC's capital requirements. It's almost like the Liberals are spending money on their media enablers and apologists, like the Liberals are plummeting in the polls, embroiled in a series of scandals with an affordability crisis created by the Liberals' own mismanagement, with an election just 17 months out. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid.
Do you love this billboard behind me just as much as I do? You can donate to help us keep it up, and you can donate to fund our civil litigation against Justin Trudeau's censorship laws, and you can sign the petition against his censorship laws by going to stopthecensorship.ca.